If you ask me, it's good enough for what it's for. And it's gonna fall out. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're still messing with the wagon. As you can see, it is street legal now. Driven it a few times. I can report that it no longer leaks coolant and it no longer leaks oil.
How neat is that?
Oh yeah, we're here in the shop. It is freezing cold because Michigan has decided to be Michigan in snow today. It's early March. It's been in the 60s and 70s here recently. Now it's gonna snow, and then in 2 days it's gonna be in the 60s or 70s again.
That's pretty neat.
But I'm here messing with the wagon, as I have already said. So the other day when I drove it, I decided it sat too high in the rear. So went ahead and shortened the rear springs by removing a coil. Now today I'm out here in the barn because the front seat is really kind of beat up, and I bought a seat cover for it. I bought this for it, so we're going to try to fit that on the front seat, make it work. Don't know if it will. And then also the window here, you roll her down, she rolls down good, you go to roll it back up, and it does that. So, I need to take this door trim panel off, and we can find out what has come loose in there and get that fixed, because that's kind of annoying. I can push it back in place, but then I have a wind noise. So to do this, there's a screw there, a screw behind that, there's a screw here. I think we got to pop this lock dealy off. I think this comes off, screw there. I don't know. Got to figure it out. It's windy, as you can hear outside. Then, you know, there's a clip on these. There's a tool to get the clip off. I have the tool. I can't find the tool, so that's perfect. So I'm gonna scrounge up some tools and take this door trim panel off and see what's come apart on the inside. But yeah, this video is gonna kind of be all over the place. Fix the door, seat cover. Then I did wash it the other day when it was beautiful out, which is not today. So some footage of that too. Let's get this door off and we'll see what we can do. Alrighty then. Take that off of there. We got a screw behind it. Take that out. Lose it. We got another Phillips screw right here. It's not a mile long. I'm just cold and shaky. Struggling. Struggle's good, right? Or something. I don't know. That slides off, apparently. Oh, look. 2 more screws. Oh, there's a color it used to be. Fancy. Now, eventually with this car, I wouldn't mind recovering this top part of this door panel and the rest of them, and redoing the headliner because that's also sagging, but all in due time. Here. How am I gonna get this off? Well, let's get this off first, I suppose. What would be great is when I break things because it's cold. Like that. That's cool. Another screw. Cool. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can super glue that back together. You guys are going to remember where all these screws go, right? Alright, got my fancy little headlight. If I do get the little clip off, will it go firing across the shop? There it is. And it's off. And where did the clip go? Right there. So yeah, that just kind of snaps on here, like so. Goes like that. Oh no. Ta-da. I don't know what that did. Let's see. What do we have in here? Let's see what we have here. Take the front is off, of course. There's a rust hole in my door. Just needs some lubrication. I think what we're gonna do is take these bolts, hold it just slightly loose, do a little adjusting, do a little lubricating while we're in here, and see if we can get it working better. It's like the whole thing on the regulator is loose. But maybe if we adjust the glass this way a little bit, lube everything up, it'll work better. I don't know. Alright, got some WD-40 Specialist water-resistant silicone lubricant that we'll coat the sides here with. There's the window run on the back. There's one over here on the front. So we will just soak all that down. I'm going to do this by hand. Try to roll this up enough. Grab the right size socket. I mentioned it is cold. Loosen these up a little bit. I want it to be like that. I don't really know if we're gonna fix anything here. Here it's only got the one piece. I don't know. Something in here is broken? I don't know. It's almost like there's supposed to be something on the glass on this side that kind of holds it in place. There's that hole in the glass. So I wonder if that's what's missing. There's supposed to be something on this side that holds the glass in place. Just lube the hell out of everything. Well, I don't think we fixed anything. There's really no adjustment that I see to it. I'm really thinking there's supposed to be something on the glass over there that kind of holds it. I'm gonna have to see if I can figure out what it does parts-wise. Yeah, if there was something in that glass right there where this hole is that would kind of hold it in place. I wonder if I have anything. The only thing is, it's got to fit through the glass, kind of like that. Then be able to make it in here and slide. I think if I had just a little bit bigger Christmas tree fastener, that would work. It's like a clip for a door panel or whatever. I mean, that one down, it falls out. Rolling back up. Stays in the crack. Hey, it opens and closes without falling off too bad now, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Let's see if I can figure out what's supposed to be there in the window and put this back together. It's too cold, my fingers don't work. Okay, well, how did this go? Like that. Like that. Oh my goodness, it's cold. Oh, why do you live in Michigan? I don't know. Because I hate myself, that's why. Oh no, it's nice in the summer. 2.5 months of it. Yeah, summer's a great time. Go hang out on the lakes. Oh, but wait, you don't like to do that either. Oh, that's cool. This, yeah. Yep. This. Alright, this gotta go back on here. Let's just go together here, bud. Let's just go, there you go. Like that. Except not, as this has to be in here. Otherwise your little lock deal will rattle. Now, if I wouldn't have broken this, how like am I ever gonna lock this stupid car? I'm gonna leave this out and glue that back together. I'm gonna throw that on the ground. That's some clippy do. Good enough. I'll call that a winish. Now to take care of all the tools. All right, I guess I could look at this other window. It should be the same, right? There's definitely something that goes in the window, and I just managed to break that one too. So we're gonna look online and see if we can find those, because apparently they're plastic and brittle since they're 55,000 years old. That's pretty good. So let me roll this window up, and then we'll see about this seat cover. Maybe that can go well too. All right, so now that you guys watched me struggle with that, I'll show you the actual solution, because I did a little research and figured out there's an actual part for that. It's these, made by Dorman. So these little guys clip on the glass and hold it into the channel over here. So we're going to take this, and clip it on the glass like that, and shove the glass over. Sure it's still clipped, and it's going to fall out. Oh, I didn't have it clipped all the way. So clipped on the glass. Look at that. Almost like it's meant to be. Crazy. Let us see. This is actually meant for a bench seat. This is kind of more of a split seat. Just gotta figure out how it folds out here. So, you know, ideally, this thing is supposed to be on a, you know, a bench seat like in an old truck, which this is not. It's not going to fit perfect. But you know what? If it fits okay, I'm good with that. If you ask me, it's good enough for what it's for. There's all these ties you go to the back, there's all these little hoops. And that's so you can tie it tight. So I think I'm gonna mess with that a little bit and see what I can do here. And then I'll get back to you. All right, so here's what I've come up with. I mean, it looks decent for this being a split bench seat. And this cover being for a actual just old pickup truck bench seat. So it's got these little pockets in the front that you can put stuff. I mean, it looks better than the holes that were in the seat. That'll do until we can find the correct type of cover for it. I'm happy with it. Looks good. Feels good. Smells like a Chinese-made seat cover. All right, back out here again. Every time I think I'm gonna finish this video, I end up doing more things. I'm like, I should throw that in there. So the other night, I came out here and was messing around with the station wagon, and I put the digital cluster in, as you can see here. So when I initially put this thing in, nothing would light up on it. Well, it would light up for a second, then it would shut off. So I got disappointed. I thought it was a bad cluster. Well, then I looked up the wiring schematic, and the wiring to this is different. So I moved some pins around. Now it works. Look at that. So, tachometer, speedometer, obviously. You got your fuel level, oil pressure, coolant temperature, and volts. Now I finally got the speedometer to work. So it turns out the factory buffer thing in the car was shorted out. So what I ended up doing is just wiring the speedometer directly to the PCM for the 3800. The cluster uses a 4,000 pulse per mile signal. PCM puts out a 4,000 pulse per mile signal. Took that buffer, chucked it in the trash. Now we have a working speedometer, but I still have to wire the tachometer, the oil pressure, and the coolant temperature gauges. So we have to figure all that out. I got a little note somewhere, and that's what I'm gonna work on right now. I'm gonna put some different clothes on. Again, wasn't planning on coming out here, but it's a nice day. It's windy, but its temperature's okay. The tachometer is a white wire. I think there's two different ones, two different signals that come out of the PCM for it, but then there's also a wire that comes out of the ignition module on the 3800 for the tachometer. So I could splice into that. And then the oil pressure, I just have to tap into the oil pressure gauge, and then it's the green wire, I think it's pin 3, on the coolant temp sensor that I gotta run up here for the gauge. I gotta get my book out, and I gotta figure out which pin on this cluster is for that stuff. And we're just gonna wire it in. Then I think I'm gonna tidy up the wiring in the car, so kind of a little bit of a mess because pretty much done now, which is amazing. Fix some stuff. I actually got the computer will communicate with my scan tool and stuff, so I can read codes, reset adaptations, relearn the crank position, you know, whatever you want to do, I can relearn it. Also, after fixing the speedometer, the trans shifts much better. So let's get set up here, and we will dig in to where the PCM is. We'll get this cluster yanked back out to where we can get to the pins, and then we will start wiring basically 3 wires, and we'll get it figured out, and then we'll button it up, and it'll look awesome. Then we'll take it for a drive, and then I'll be done with this video. So let's do that. All right, appropriate clothing. Got my headlamp on so I can see. I have the book for the 6000 that shows the pinout of the 2 different connectors on the digital cluster. So here we have the white connector at the back of the digital cluster. See here, digital cluster. So pin 4 is for the oil pressure, and pin 3 is for the coolant temp. So we'll need to wire those 2 things. This is the black connector. Tachometer is right here. Pin 5, I already have this one wired because I was messing with this a little bit the other day when I put the cluster in. So I already have a wire for that run. I was looking at my cheat sheets here for the pin out at the PCM, and one of these had tack out. Yeah, this pin 9 of the clear connector, but it didn't do anything when I hooked it up to that. I don't think it's wired for that, honestly. Got my little cheat sheet that I wrote out here. So the coolant temp is the dark green wire, which is the pin C at the coolant temp sensor under the hood. We'll have to run a wire for that. The tachometer, I can't get that from the PCM, so we need to go to pin E of the electronic ignition module, and then the tan wire from the oil pressure sender. So go under the hood here, turn on my fancy light. Obviously this is your ignition control module. Comes up, this is the harness for it. And I believe these are the same, yeah, these are the same pinouts. So pin E is right here and it's got a white wire. Tachometer is a white wire. It has nothing coming out this side. So I think if I pin something here, run it through the harness and in, we should have tachometer. And then I can run the coolant temp with it. Coolant temp sensor is right here. So we just got to pick the green wire and we can run that through this harness with it. Then conveniently, down there is the oil pressure sender. So that's really close to run it in where the wires go in. I didn't use the 2 wires that I ran in for the vehicle speed. So we're gonna hack off those where I buttered them in trying to use the factory vehicle speed setup. And we're gonna use those to run through the firewall. So let's get to running some wires. If I can find a pin like that. Oh, that's it. All right, cool. So I must be tired. I got it done, thought I was filming. I wasn't, but the way I did it was I found the wiring schematic for the 3800. All those wires come up and they're over here. And I had cut them all off and taped them up in the harness. So I was able to ohm out the wire to the oil pressure sensor and to the coolant temp sensor up here. Then I ran a new wire, which you can see right there, for the tach signal through my loom up to here. And then there was a wire that goes into the car to the cluster for tachometer, coolant temp, and oil pressure right here. So I was able to splice them in here. And then I didn't have to run any wires through the firewall, which made it way easier. You come in here, turn it on, everybody lights up. Had it running, you can see coolant temp is up. You have an oil pressure warning because the engine's off, so it has no oil pressure. And then if we start it, the oil pressure gauge goes up and then goes back to this. So maybe the sender's bad? I don't know. Temperature gauge works, voltage gauge works, fuel gauge works, speedometer works. The tach I saw work for a split second. I know it has signal, I verified it has signal, so maybe if I hit a big enough pothole, it'll start working. Or I'll find another cheap digital cluster and swap that out and see. I got all the backlighting working. Would be cool if the tachometer worked, but it doesn't. The other thing that I noticed is the odometer doesn't move. So I took the cluster out to do all this wiring. I took it apart to clean everything, and the gear for the odometer is actually broken. Took the other cluster apart to try to take the gear off of that one, and it broke. Maybe I can find an odometer gear online somewhere and take this back apart and fix that. Hopefully the tach starts working. Or I'll just find another, I think I paid 60 bucks used for this cluster on eBay. Maybe I'll try to find another one, because I know the tach has signal. Like I said, it worked for a split second. So I don't know, we'll give it time and see. So yeah, that's the cluster. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's about that for the interior. Let's go back in time to where we washed this thing. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to do something I have not done yet, and that is clean up the station wagon. So I've got it out here in the driveway. As you can see, it's kind of dirty. I've never officially washed this thing other than running it through a car wash at work, but you can see we have some residue from where I took the adhesive off to re-adhere this piece. Some of it's through the paint, but some of it's adhesive. So we have some super clean to try on that, see if it'll take it off. It might not, because some of that might be the paint missing. We have some wheel cleaner to clean the hubcaps because they're pretty dirty, and then we're just going to give it an overall bath because it is still pretty dirty. It's rusty too, but that's okay. You can see here, you know, it's a mess. So I do still get a monthly subscription box for detailing products from Glove Box Detail. So all the stuff other than the super clean is stuff that has come in that. So we're gonna use this Jay Leno's Garage car wash. Should be pretty good. We have this Mr. Cartoon all-wheel cleaner that we're gonna try on the hubcaps. I've got some Simple Green to try to degrease some stuff if needed. And then we have some Super Clean to try on that passenger door where there's adhesive. So we'll start with the wheels, and then we'll spray down the car, get it nice and wet, and we'll try to get the stuff off the door, and we'll give it a good bath, and we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Now this hubcap looks pretty good because it is brand new, but you know, we'll get the wheel too. We'll get the tire too, I should say. Then we'll move on to the old ones that were on the car when I got it. I was missing a hubcap when I got it, and that one on the back is a brand new hubcap. Came in a GM box and everything, but it's not the same style. But it's close enough. See if this takes 40-year-old brake dust and grime off. Well, you can see it turning colors, so that means it's working. And we got this scrub brush we can get into some of this stuff with. And we're not really going for perfect here. We're just going for better. Now, if you want to try getting yourself a monthly car detailing subscription box, you can go to gloveboxdetail.com, I believe is their website. And that's 40 bucks a month, I think. But you get 3 or 4 bottles of different detailing cleaners, sprays, car washes, chamois, scrub brushes, wash mitts, you know, whatever you can think of. And a lot of it's stuff I wouldn't use normally, but it's cool because you get to try it out. This is not at all sponsored. It's just something that I enjoy because I've always liked washing my cars. It's cool to get something new every month, so check it out if you're into that sort of thing. These things might need to get rinsed off and then get a second spray, or we'll just call it good enough. You know, I think with how dirty this car is, I think I'm going to spray it down with some Simple Green to kind of break down some of the gunk that's on it, and then we'll wash it. I think that stuff froze over the winter. This thing has so much more surface area than a Fiero. Alright, so the car is clean, but you can see here, I think it picks up on camera, there's like some residue from taking the adhesive from the old strip off the door. So we're going to try this super clean. Spray it on there, scrub it, see what it does. I definitely don't want to let this dry on here, so that will probably take paint with it. See what we end up with here at the end. Well, I think that's in the paint. I did use like a all-purpose cleaner, like brake cleaner or whatever, to try to clean some of it off, and I think it kind of ate the paint away. Just adds to the overall look of the car, which I'm fine with. Oh, there you go. Clean car. Looks better. Still not perfect. But that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. Sometimes you got to show your rusty cars a little bit of love too. Still got some staining in the paint there. I have to figure that out. Then if we go over it, I don't know if it picks up in the camera, but there's a bunch of sap on it. Now I do want to do a wipe on clear on this to make it shiny, help protect the paint that is there. You know, it's a patina car from the 80s. We're starting a new trend, 80s patina. that's not a square body Chevy. The car looks pretty good. You got to show rusty cars some love. So next is the interior, but that's something for another day. That's gonna take a while. I mean, carpets have to be cleaned, and we got to figure out something on the door panel and something for the seats. But yeah, that'll do it for this one. Cleaning my patina 80s car that nobody but me cares about. I'm okay with it. It's fast. Who cares, right? So thanks for watching this one. Next, I can't tell you what we're doing. We got pace car Fiero we're working on. Interior on this to clean. This has insurance now. It's getting plates next week, so I'll be driving this. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see you guys later.